This is a video about semicolons and colons. These are going to be frequently tested on the new SAT and on the ACT English section. So these are general rules about a colon. So a colon looks like this here. And a colon must have a complete sentence before it. Often that's the issue with the original incorrect statements. It can be followed by a variety of situations. So it can be followed by a list, an incomplete sentence, or a sentence that is very similar to the sentence before the colon. It can appear between two complete sentences. If that's the case, then you won't also be offered a period or a semicolon, because in that case, period, semicolon, and colon would be equally effective, so they aren't going to offer you all three unless it's a except question asking like which of the following would not be acceptable, or all of the following would be acceptable except for. So that's the only way to offer all three. Okay. And also, this is just a reminder that a comma and then a fanboys conjunction, which I'll show you in the next slide, those all serve the function of dividing two complete thoughts, two complete sentences. And the next slide is just a reminder of the fanboys conjunctions. So for, and, nor, but, or, yet so. They're really only going to care about and, but, and or primarily. Those are the ones they care the most about. Just to reiterate, a colon must have a complete sentence before it, and it can have a complete sentence, a list, or even just one word after it. Often in that case, it's a synonym to what comes right before the colon. So any of those can come after colon. A colon cannot have an incomplete sentence before it. It cannot have the phrase such as directly before it. This phrase on its own makes what comes before the colon not a complete sentence. So this is a note that is not entirely necessary, but one thing that is true about English, which you can learn more about from the Grammar Girl podcast on use of colon, is that a colon can have the phrase such as the following before it, but the SAT's never tested that. So what they have tested quite a lot is they'll have such as colon, which is always wrong. Okay. All right. I think that's just reiterating what it would be. Okay. One thing I want to point out is that a really nice strategy is to replace the colon with the word namely and see if it makes sense, which will work well here. Bobby thought that another factor contributed to the miscommunication, namely texting. So that's just specifying that texting is the factor that contributed to the miscommunication. This is not something that has ever appeared on an SAT, but this actually would be okay if it said, I like winter sports such as the following: skiing, snowboarding, and ice hockey. This sentence kind of bothers me. It doesn't really sound like a complete sentence here. Luckily, they haven't tested this on the SAT. They've tested a more obviously incorrect version of this, which is to have just such as before the colon. So this is wrong. I like winter sports such as, and you can kind of hear the thought trail off and not finish a complete sentence. You can hear it saying, I like winter sports such as ... It's an incomplete thought. So this would automatically be wrong, and you'd be looking for the correction that gets rid of the colon. And then this is correct because here we have a complete sentence. Bobby thought that another factor contributed to the miscommunication. Period. You could have a period there. That would be a complete sentence. Or you can have colon, which is fine because this is a complete sentence. And then notice that namely could replace this, and it would function well. Okay, this is just another classic thing that they'll offer you. They'll offer you like before a colon, and that's wrong. I like winter sports like. That's not a complete sentence, so that would be wrong. You'd just get rid of the colon to fix this. And also similarly, if you had such as, that would be wrong. Okay, this is an example from Kaplan that honestly is confusing, so I'm just going to skip it. Kaplan materials are great additional resources for the SAT, but this lecture is just going to focus on the real College Board materials. So I'm going to stop the video here and make a separate video specifically about semicolons so that you could focus on that and watch that separately if you need to learn more about semicolons.